Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Today's video is going to be all about gallbladder function, the top supplements and nutrients we need to help our gallbladder to function properly, and what's our gallbladder even for to begin with. All right, before we dive in, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps. Also, head over to justinhealth.com/iTunes. Really appreciate if you give me a review there. That would be awesome. We'll put the link down below as well. All right, guys, so first off, what is your gallbladder? Your gallbladder sits in the upper right-hand quadrant here underneath the rib there, right underneath actually your liver. Your gallbladder's main job is to actually concentrate bile, and bile is going to be needed. A lot of it's cholesterol to actually help break down fatty acids. Now, a lot of junk from the liver is also dumped in the bile, so some of that stuff isn't good. We want to get rid of it, and the other bit is bile to help break down healthy fats, fat-soluble vitamins. Now, if we don't dump our gallbladder, if we don't continually contract it and get that bile out there moving, a lot of those cholesterol salts in there can crystallize. Those bile salts can crystallize, and then those crystals become gallbladder stones, and they're hard, they're jagged, so then when your gallbladder contracts one day when you eat some fat, you can get gallbladder inflammation. So, my opinion, a lot of food allergens and low-fat type of dietary restrictions really cause a lot of gallbladder problems. That's a biggie. A couple of things that drive low gallbladder is not enough stomach acid and not eating high quality cholesterol, fats, and proteins. So if you're eating good quality grass-fed meat, good quality proteins and fats, the fats in there will trigger good quality bile release, and then you're not going to have these stones and these crystals forming. So that's a really big component in all this. The other is good hydrochloric acid levels, because when we have all of our food, which is in our stomach, right? This is called chyme. It's all mixed up food and digestive juices. We need a nice low pH on this. This nice low pH helps trigger a compound in our small intestine called cholecystokinin. It's very pH sensitive. And that's a signaling compound that's going to cause our gallbladder to contract. So good acidity actually starts the triggering of proteolytic enzymes in the stomach. Pepsinogen to pepsin gets a lot of those proteolytic enzymes going. Good acidity helps with gastrin levels too. And then that food gets brought down from the stomach into the small intestine. This is where you have a bicarbonate release from the pancreas to bring that pH back up. Before that happens, you're going to have a nice triggering of cholecystokinin, which will cause a gallbladder release of bile. And you'll also have some pancreatic enzyme release of lipase and other proteolytic enzymes, trypsin, chymotrypsin, etc. So we need good hydrochloric acid levels for our gallbladder to work. So if you're chronically stressed, physical, chemical, emotional stress, that's going to be a problem. That's going to lessen your stomach acid levels. Also, just food allergens. There's some common food allergens that affect the gallbladder. That's going to be things like pork, bacon, obviously bacon, pork are connected, coffee, onions, sometimes turkey, cauliflower. There's a couple. I have an article that I've written on gallbladder issues, and in that article I kind of list all those common foods out. We'll put that link in the show notes so you guys can take a look at that later. So gallbladder, very important for digesting fat. Now, a lot of people think that, you don't need a gallbladder. No big deal. Just take it out if it's inflamed, right? If you have that upper right quadrant pain here, or just a lot of times it can manifest to the shoulders, right? So you can have a lot of shoulder issues, and that may really be a gallbladder issue, but you'll have maybe some shoulder pain, right? Just kind of like a heart attack. You may have left jaw and arm pain for a heart attack, just like, lower right hip quadrant pain for the appendicitis, right? So you have a viscerosomatic reflux. The organ refluxes to different muscles that may not be exactly where the organ inflammation is. So a lot of doctors, they think, hey, gallbladder is expendable. No big deal, right? Well, is that true? Well, what's the gallbladder doing? It's essentially concentrating bile, and it's able to punctuate the release of bile based on that CCK neuropeptide. And so when you don't have that, the common hepatic bile duct essentially in the liver becomes your bile duct. So that's where bile will emanate, and it just drips because it doesn't really have a holding containment center. So it's going to drip into that small intestine. That's what's going to happen basically. It's going to just drip. And then you're not going to have that punctuated bile release, meaning you're not going to have that bile release happen right when you're eating fats and proteins. So you're not going to have great digestion. Now, this is important because who are the people that are primarily affected by gallbladder issues? Well, general surgeon friend of mine, there was an acronym a lot of general surgeons are taught because they do a lot of the gallbladder removal surgery, right? The acronym is FFF, female, fat, and 40. Female, overweight, and 40 and up. That's the acronym. The general surgeons know it because that's their customer 80% of the time. Now, why is this bad for women? Well, 40 means typically before menopause, typically. So these are women that are on that cusp of going perimenopausal or menopausal, and they're going to go through a lot of hormone stress as they transition to menopause. They're going to need to rely on their adrenals. They're going to need to rely on good, healthy hormone balance. Well, what happens if they can't break down those hormone building blocks, aka cholesterol? That's a building block for all your hormones. What about important fat-soluble vitamins and amino acids? These are really, really important building blocks. So now you can't break down or digest these building blocks. Well, how are you going to have a healthy menopause, right? How are you going to go into menopause and transition hormonally as a woman without good building blocks? It's going to be really hard. So you're going to have an increased risk for hair loss, mood issues, depression, anxiety, vaginal dryness, hot flashes, all of those different things. So the first key to anyone's health is going to be digestion. So just because you're eating a really good diet doesn't mean you're breaking it all down. So we got to make sure you're eating good, you're digesting it good, you're breaking it all down. And that includes good bile flow. That includes good enzyme production and good acid production. And also making sure we don't have any underlying infections or bad bacteria imbalance in the gut. Those are all other important things we can dive in deeper. Certain infections like Giardia are known to maybe affect the gallbladder. So H. pylori as well. So these are infections that could be driving inflammation in that area that we should probably look at as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know down below. Really curious to know your thoughts on it as well. But fat digestion is so important. And if we're going to be a fat burner, right? If we're going to be more ketogenic and rely more on fat for fuel, well, we got to break it down, right? We got to have really, really, really good digestion. That's so, so, so important. All right, so very good. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to dive in deeper, if you have hormonal issues or gut issues or gallbladder issues and you want to dive in to get to the root underlying issues addressed, feel free and let me know. Reach out. There'll be a link below where you can schedule a consult with myself and our colleagues. And if you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Head over to justinhealth.com/iTunes, iTunes, and give me a review. I really appreciate it. Also, supplements for gallbladder. What do we like? Bile salts are great. Really good. That kind of replaces the bile that may not be there. Of course, enzymes and HCl, great. Dandelion root, great. Phosphatidylcholine, taurine, excellent. I mentioned beetroot powder already. Let's see. Milk thistles, wonderful. Also really good. So these are some really good things. Extra lipase could be helpful just to help with the fat digestion. These are all excellent sources. So a couple of my products that I recommend to patients. HCl Supreme is great. Enzyme Synergy is great. Liver Supreme has a lot of those liver support products in there that I recommend. But whatever you get, make sure it's from a high quality source. And make sure if you're taking a supplement, make sure you're always focused on getting to the root cause. That is so, so important with the goals here. All right, let's dive in and see what's going on here in the questions. All right. Very annoying pains and discomfort in the lower right side that comes and usually goes. Starts after 4 days of antimicrobial treatment. Which can it be and how might you suggest to proceed? So it depends. I mean, that could be an ileocecal valve issue, but you should be, I'm not sure if you're a patient or not, Alex. A lot of patients don't use their names on these chats, which is fine for anonymity purposes. But you should be following my die-off reaction handout. So if you're a patient of mine, you should be calibrating your clearing herbs so you don't clear too fast and too hard. Because if you clear too fast, too hard, your detox and lymphatic and immune system get overwhelmed. So you really want to make sure you're not overwhelming your system, number one. Make sure your diet's great. That goes without saying. We can add in some extra activated charcoal as well to help kind of bind things up. Just take it away from food and supplements. 2 hours after food and supplements, 1 hour before is pretty good. Good. My right side is right around my rib area. Should I start with a juice cleanse? Just get the junk moving. No, I don't recommend. Are you talking about for like the gallbladder? I don't recommend gallbladder cleanses just because if you ever have a stone and you really purge that gallbladder, you can get quite a bit of inflammation. There's an article on the Townsend letter about these gallbladder cleanses, and I personally don't think what you're seeing in like the stool afterwards isn't all those stones. So a lot of times you're drinking some kind of oil substance, usually some kind of an Epsom salt, and then usually some kind of a juice, like an apple juice. The Townsend letter found that a lot of what you're taking in the oil, the juice, and the Epsom salts is actually what those stones are. Because everyone consistently has stones like that do those cleanses. I tell you how many patients I see that come in that have gone and gotten an ultrasound, and there's never that many stones. Never that many that come out. And so I think that what you're seeing is more as a result of the congealing of those 3 compounds that you take before the cleanse. That's what you're seeing. And the Townsend letter echoed that as well. But either way, let's say it is fully evacuating all those stones. All it takes is a couple of sharp stones and you got a gallbladder attack. So you got to be careful with that. Yeah, so if your dad had passed recently, Johnny, then that could be definitely some stress that could be irritating things. Dr. J, how do I improve my digestion and heal my gut? Yeah, so that's a loaded question because we just talk about that all the time here. But I would just take a look at one of my podcasts on gut healing, justinhealth.com in the search. Just put in gut healing podcast or go to my iTunes channel and just look for that on the search and then start there. That'll be a lot better. I won't give it justice in our 30 seconds here. Would white rice be good for bulking up and body weight? Yeah, it could be. You could try another starch as well. White potato may be even better because it's grain-free. Yep, that could be a better option. Bad cough seems related to digestion. Tested negative for bugs. Cough goes away with Alka-Seltzer. Yeah, so you probably have some silent reflux going on. What does that mean and what do I do? Taking gallbladder enzymes, apple cider vinegar seems to irritate. Yeah, so it sounds like you got some digestive atrophic gastritis going on in the gut. So if ACV is a problem, I imagine taking betaine HCl with pepsin is probably a problem as well, right? So I would just focus more on enzymes, and I don't know how good, people write these questions. I don't know how good someone's diet is, right? So if your diet's not great, make it amazing, and then really work on pre-digesting that food with a good Instapot, or just really making sure you're really chewing well and not hydrating with food. I get my B12 from milk, my protein from chicken, and my iron from supplements. Do I still need red meat? I probably would. There's a lot of great nutrients in red meat. A lot of the iron, too, is going to be great. So I would do it. I mean, there's no reason to not do it. Just keep it pasture-fed and organic. I don't see a problem with it. I'm also dealing with liver and kidney and adrenal issues as well. How do I deal and heal the gut and improve my digestion and kidneys and adrenal function? So just start with the gut stuff, Mike. Do that. Go look at that gut podcast. And there's a couple. We talk about how the hormones dovetail in there. How many times a week should I swing my 10-pound ankle weights for assisting knee repair? That's a great question. I mean, you're going to need to do more than that for the knee surgery. So right before the video, I just went in my gym and I just did push-ups to failure. My push-ups I do ultra slow. So push-ups, I push up, I have the bar so I can go extra deep. And I go 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. So extra slow. And I do that till failure. Normally like 15 push-ups, which is, it's a lot because you're, 4 seconds. Most of the time people are banging push-ups like this and they're not even going that deep. So I go all the way up, all the way down, 4 seconds. And then I go into TRX rows, 4 seconds. And then I do kettlebell swings to failure. And I'll do that usually in between patients. I'll run over, do a circuit, come back, see a patient, run over, do a circuit. And then I'm walking on my treadmill desk and I'm doing about 15,000 steps a day. So that's kind of how I exercise. Right now, it's non-structured, meaning I'm not like working out for like 30 minutes straight. It's like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. Walk. Keep the diet really clean and pristine during the week. But you're going to need something a little bit more structured than just swinging your ankle weight on your knee. But I would see a really good, like a functional PT, not like a conventional PT, but more of a functional PT or even a functional personal trainer that has experience in that. Makes sense. Possible stones I'm dealing with. Yeah, it's just don't forget, like you can have a lot of gallbladder inflammation and still not have stones. So this is a weird thing for people to kind of wrap their heads around. A lot of those food allergens I mentioned, like paleo autoimmune, will cut out a lot. But then there's the pork, the bacon, the coffee, the onions, some of those. So take a look at my gallbladder article on that too. Some of those food intolerances could be affecting your gallbladder. 57 years old, I take nitric oxide. I do Zach Bush's NO exercise and drink beetroot powder. Is that too much? I think that's okay. I mean, I would just see how you feel. As long as you titrate it up and you feel good, I think that's fine. How can someone get rid of gout? Yeah, get your fructose levels down. So I'd go on a very, very low-carb diet and get your fructose levels down. Gout isn't necessarily the issue of too much uric acid from protein. It's poor clearance of uric acid. And one thing that affects uric acid clearance is high levels of fructose, high levels of insulin resistance, and low potassium. So potassium is going to be in your green leafy greens, your avocados, and then really get all your carbohydrates and your fructose under 15 grams a day. The silent reflux, yes, beta HCl does seem to be a problem too. So yeah, you got a very inflamed gut then. So you got to really work on gut barrier integrity, good nutrients for the gut lining. In my line, it's GI Restore, right? That's going to be like zinc carnosine. It's going to be things like glutamine, glycine, really clean but also easy to digest diet. You could have an amazing diet, but if it's harder to digest, that may still be a problem. And then lean on enzymes. There's probably gut infections. Got to look there. Can stress alone hurt my gallbladder if I eat a healthy diet? Yeah, I mean, if you're stressed and you don't make enough enzymes and acid, then you won't be able to get that pH down. And that pH is a really important trigger for your gallbladder. So yes. Yeah, unfortunately, Nexium does help. Yeah, so you just got to really get to the underlying issue. So work on gut lining integrity and then look at gut infections and then just do your best to lean on more enzymes right now, maybe a little bit of bitters if you can do it, and then go from there. Dr. J, I'm currently taking probiotics for my gut health and plant-based enzymes to help my digestion, which with the food I consume. Great. Awesome. Okay, good. I'll find it. Thanks. You're welcome. Perfect. I also eat a relatively healthy diet, though. I need to drink more water for my hydration levels. Yep, that's good. I think adding a little bit of minerals in that water, like a pinch of Redmond's Real Salts, excellent. That'll provide some extra nutrients or extra minerals that you're not going to get in the food. Okay. Awesome, guys. I hope you guys are doing well today. And get the questions, feel free and let me know. Okay, I'm just checking one more thing here. Yeah, also, if you guys are enjoying this, please feel free, give me a review on iTunes. Just really trying to push the reviews here. My goal is to help more people like y'all, and if you guys can drop me a line and let me know how much I've been helping you or how much the show's been helping you, that helps me to help more people like you. So I ask for you all to pay it forward. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a phenomenal day. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care, y'all. Bye now.